Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Season 2 of Conversations in Pop Culture, where I have with me Ricky Carralero. And if you love bad girl art, you're going to love this interview. I'm just going to start it off right then and there because Ricky is one of the pioneers of bad girl art. So welcome back to comics, first off, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Andrew. Really excited. Really excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm very excited because obviously, as I stated, you've been gone for a while from comics. Now you're back. You had a Kickstarter that was successful before this one that's currently going on. And obviously, Double Impact is back. And we're talking about Double Impact Ghost No More. But before we get into that, what is Double Impact for those who don't know and aren't from the 90s? Because this is 25 years old.
Right. Well, yeah, as you said it, we created High Impact Comics back in '94, and the first comic book was Double Impact, China and Jazz, basically, based on these two badasses, mercenaries, chicks, gun blazing, I was always a really big fan of James Bond and all of those films and stuff like that. So when drawing, a lot of women and a lot of sexy pinups and everything, which has been my life, since I started drawing. What not to do, what better not to do than create these characters based on some of the things that I really liked on film. And basically, put a little bit of everything, that I've wanted to do, that I was a fan of. And so, China and Jazz were born. China and Jazz were like, these two government agents, muscle for hire. And then they went ahead and they started doing their own thing, double crossed by the government. Which, I have to tell you that, in the 90s, 1991, 92, when I was just, drawing, and I was, I thought I was ready, and I wasn't even ready to get in the industry. But, you think you're ready, and you get your portfolio and you're going to each and every single convention looking for jobs. And then, you don't even realize that you're not even ready, you're not even halfway there. But, when I created these characters, and then little by little, 10, 15 years later, and you see some of these characters that have been built up and created by Hollywood, based on, the whole bad girl, femme fatale type of, a chick, where now it's not a badass dude anymore, Now we have, like a Lethal Blonde, you have like all these female characters, dominating, the whole bad girl universe in Hollywood. And each and every single time that one of these movies would come out, I would say to myself, oh my God, I can't believe that, because at my time, I was one of the very first ones. And then a few years later, I was lucky that even though that nothing happened and it's still up in smoke and all of that, but I was lucky that I was, contacted by a production studio right here down in Miami, Florida, and they were interested on the rights. They pitched some things, to Miramax Films at that time. They were very interested. Some things were made. Then certain things happened with licensing and copyrights and a bunch of stuff that that were like totally, completely new to me. So I was really, really excited. But yeah, pretty much China and Jazz, AKA Double Impact, because, two girls, was created based on, there's two girls, trained by the government, and basically they use their sex appeal, their, beauty, and being exotic and stuff like that to infiltrate. And then, all hell breaks loose, destroy from within, and so, yeah, that was the whole, whole idea behind, the creation of China and Jazz.
Yeah, and to even go further, because obviously the 90s were a very different time than 2020, 2021. And at this point in the 90s, we had a lot of dark comics coming out. We had, obviously the dark, 7 years of Batman and the Restoration. And obviously also the comic world was going through a bubble. Marvel, I think, was like dealing with bankruptcy and a variety of other stuff. And so what was the entire comic world like during the 90s for you? Because I think you sold over 1 million copies. It was one of the most successful indie comics in the 90s. And this has paved the path, Double Impact, for indie comics in many ways as well, especially during the 90s. So what was that entire thing like for you? Because obviously 2001, the comic world sort of blew up. The speculation market was a big problem, and I'm in that sector. So what was that like? Because obviously you have this trailblazing comic, but then things just sort of went off the rails in the comic world.
And I have to tell you that it was I think that I was lucky and I was blessed that when I created Double Impact, I think that a lot of us call it the golden age of independent comics, the bad girl comics. I was not one of the only ones. There was a lot of other titles that were doing really, really well. But yeah, it was the best time for independence and for the whole bad girl comics type of thing. Sadly, we had no idea. Nobody knew. Like a lot of bubbles that blow up, like a lot of businesses and stuff like that. There was a lot of issues. Marvel, and I'm not going to get into a lot of politics and stuff, but I would tell you that they had a lot to do with it. When I started, we had over 12 huge distributors, international distributors. There was not only Diamond Comics. Diamond Comics was just one distributor. I mean, if Diamond Comics didn't want to pick you up or you didn't want to go with Diamond Comics, no worries. You don't need them. We had Capital, we had Andromeda, we had Sticks International, Comics Hawaii, and then we had all these small independent distributors who would go ahead and order 15, 20, 30,000 copies just like that. So then on top of that, you had Diamond, and a lot of there was just a lot of bad business regarding monopolizing the industry. I remember that I was during one of the last years I was in San Diego, and a lot of other publishers came to me and they told me, hey, look, listen, we have representatives from Diamond coming to every single booth, and they're asking if we're going to go ahead and go exclusive. Are you thinking about going exclusive? And I said, there's no, why am I going to go exclusive with a distributor when I have so many other distributors that I am working with, and I'm happy with each and every single one of them. I mean, it's crazy to go in and think that you're going to go ahead and you're going to go with one distributor, unless this guy is going to come to you and is going to tell you, look, listen, you're selling 1 million copies over here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to order you 2 million copies, but deal with me exclusive. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to think about it. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, we didn't see it coming. Diamond started putting a lot of pressure on a lot of publishers, including the big guys, including Marvel, DC. The independents, obviously, we suffered. There was a lot of stop signs that were put all of a sudden, a lot of red lights, that we started seeing. At that time, in order to go ahead and be top 10 or something like that, a lot of people don't know. But at the end of the day, at the end of the game, it's a business, just like any other business. You're dealing with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So they're going to come to you. They're going to tell you, hey, look, listen, you want to be top 10? Well, look, listen, you need to spend, at least $30,000, $40,000 in advertisement in our catalog. If you don't do it, somebody else is going to go ahead and is going to do it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to give a lot of preferences and a lot of spotlights and a lot of this, to those that spend a lot of money, in advertising. It was a horrible business. I didn't see it. I saw it as I started growing, because imagine, I'm young. All of a sudden I got a bestseller. All I wanted to do was draw comic books. And here I am now, a kid from Miami, selling 40, 50, 60,000 copies of just one title each and every single month, because this is not bi-monthly. This is every single month, and I don't know anything about the side of the business. I had to learn that it was a really, really ugly business, just like any other business when you deal with a lot of money, with millions of dollars. And so I graduated. Sadly, I made a lot of mistakes, and I had to graduate from a very, very painful and really, really hardcore school. You know, as I would say it, because of the fact that you know, I always wanted to do my own thing. I've always, you know, there's a lot of people that know me from back in the days, you know, out there, and they know that I don't, you know, I don't bend. You know, I don't let anybody tell me what to do or whatever. So I decided to be on my own, stay on my own. So I started having problems with a lot of these distributors, you know, because of the fact that I didn't want to go exclusive. Make a long story short, before we realized it, before we saw it coming, I had a lot of friends, a lot of other publishers that, you know, suddenly, you know, would call me and tell me, Ricky, you know that so and so and so is not getting paid from Capital. You know, the so and so and so is not getting paid from Andromeda. I think these people are going to go bankrupt. I think these people are going to declare bankruptcy. I think that there's no more comic book distribution. I think that Diamond, it's really, really pressuring these people. And Diamond is the only ones that have made deals with Marvel, DC, you know, so they could be exclusive. So now retailers, if they want X-Men, Spider-Man, if they want some of the big titles and stuff like that, you got to deal with Diamond. You know, whoever's working with Capital, whoever's working with all those distributors, guess what? They're not getting Marvel and they're not getting DC. So guess what? Who's going to get hurt? At the end of the day, they've hurt thousands of retailers that put a lot of retailers out of business. Retailers going out of business, distributors go out of business, distributors go out of business. It turned into a domino effect. It was a chain reaction. We saw, I was one of the very last publishers that kept in business. You know, London Night, you know, went under. You know, so many people that, you know, that we hung out at comic conventions, that we, you know, that we worked together, and I saw these people go down, you know, just like that, from one day to the next one. Next thing you know, you have distributors that owe you 60, 70, 100, $150,000. They're not there no more to pay you. So guess what? That's it. You're done. You're dead. And sadly, I saw this happen. I was fortunate that didn't happen to me. You know, I was able to get paid from Capital. I was able to get paid from some of the biggest guys. And I stood there until I saw so much bullshit and so much garbage from distributors, from Diamond, and from so many things that were up and down. And as you said, it was just blowing up, and it blew up. It blew up. And then my last comic books, I went ahead and I said, you know what? I'm grateful and I'm blessed that I've made a name out there, and I've always done a lot of other things. It's time for me to walk away. It's time for me to walk away, get away from comic books for a while. Let's see what happens. And so that's what I did. You know, it was a very painful decision, because I had a lot of people that were still buying from me directly, a lot of retailers, a lot of small distributors, but there was just no way to stay in business, man, because it's just not there anymore. The industry was just, you know, it ended. You know, comic books at that time just, and so, yeah.
And so obviously, I think things are sort of happening in a very similar way today with what's going on with DC and Marvel, and they're sick of Diamond. And we're about to experience a whole bigger problem once again with Diamond, but I guess Diamond's on the wrong side of the trade right now, because DC and Marvel leave Diamond, and you have companies like Dynamite and Boom and Titan and Scout. Scout's actually with DC now with their publisher, and you got companies like Zenoscope and a variety and IDW that are still with Diamond. But the big question is that, can Diamond stay in business long enough now, and are they going to have enough competition, or are they going to have enough merchandise, I should say, and enough retailers that are going to want to order from them, and is it going to be profitable for them? And it's kind of weird how this is coming full circle 20 years later, you know, in a very, very, very weird way, where Diamond is on the opposite side of this trade. And so it's so interesting that you bring it up, because nothing is forever. And I think you know indie distributors are popping up. I interviewed Comic Distro, which is trying to get indie comics into shops,
Mm-hmm.
and they're an on-demand print company. And so it's super, super interesting how 20 years ago at the end, Diamond took over, and now they're sort of on the wrong side of this trade. And it's weird how karma works.
Yeah, listen, I have to tell you that, I lived it, I suffered it. I saw a lot of good friends, artists, publishers, retailers, you know, um, go out of business. It's that simple. So I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to go ahead and enjoy, seeing Diamond Comics, maybe totally, completely shut doors and go out of business or whatnot. But I would tell you that I would drink a few beers, if I know that they're hurting, I'll go ahead and I'll get a bottle of Black Label, and a 12 pack, and I'll go ahead and I'll celebrate that, because
are you celebrating the fact that there's now competition, and now that there's this idea that they're not the kings anymore, and they caused a lot of harm, and they took over and they monopolized, and now the monopoly's falling apart? Or are you enjoying the fact that, hey, it is, you threw a punch 20 years ago and now you're getting the punch back?
Right, that is exactly correct. I would enjoy all of the above that you just mentioned right now, because that's exactly what happened. That is exactly what happened. It's like, me, I'm the bully, and then you say, shit, in order to deal with Ricky, I gotta go ahead and I gotta do this and this and this and this and this, and it's really not fair, but I gotta be there, and then later on, it's happening to me. You're like, you know what? Well, fuck this guy, I'm glad that now it's happening to you, I'm happy to see you getting hurt now, so yeah, because look, imagine back then, you had to, in order to be distributed by Diamond, you at least had to sell 15 to 20,000 copies. If not, they will drop you. They will literally drop you. All right. They will not care about you. They will not care that you had the most beautiful artwork, storylines, the best writers. No, I don't want you. You're not at my level. Forget about it. You're done. I don't want you. Now, as I understand it, if I print 3,000-4,000 copies, I can go ahead and I can be distributed by Diamond, and they'll put my comic books in each and every single retailers that they have. Well, guess what? Look, when I got out of the industry, I started doing other things, and I started working for, for a lot of other people, and I started doing artwork for Robert Bain in California, and I started doing very well. And then from there, having a background on fashion because of my mother, I've always had a lot of people, tell me, hey, why don't you create, your designs on clothing and stuff like that. And so I started, I created Wicked Culture. And so I jumped into that, and that is the reason why I said, you know what, I'll get back into comics books one day, because I love drawing. I kept on drawing, and each and every single time that I was in Florida, or that I was in the US, there was a comic book convention, I would go. I'd love the fans. My fans are out there, and if they met me and they know me, they know that I literally would invite them to my booth, drink with them, do free sketches with them, invite them after parties. My fans are my life. It's that simple, and until this day, it's a beautiful thing how I've had, so many people getting in touch with me now that they know I'm back, and they're like, oh, bro, I used to get drunk with you. Don't you remember? You invited me to that party. Don't you remember? And that's a beautiful thing, man, because, when you go on the road and you meet your fans, this is your life. Forget about it, So, being in the clothing industry, I always wanted to get back into comics. I just didn't know when. But I knew sooner or later I was going to get into drawing, and especially that I keep in touch with a lot of people. Now we have this beautiful thing that we call social media. We didn't have that before. Now we have Kickstarter. Now we have all these different avenues where we are able to reach out directly to our backers, to our friends, to our fans, to go ahead and to get us there, to put us back there, and make things happen for us and help us, do what we love doing the most, you know? We didn't have that back then. So guess what? We really don't give a fuck about Diamond. We really don't care about no distributors that is going to come to me, put rates right in front of my door. I don't care about that because I have my website. I got my online store. I got, you know, all these different avenues. I have the beautiful people that can get in touch with me directly and just deal with me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it is a powerful, powerful thing. And I got to tell you that because of my fans, because of the beautiful people that I have out there, you know, for the past 20 years, and I still have them, you know, it is the reason why during, you know, this whole COVID and everything and stuff, you know, I mean, obviously everything shut down, everything died for a while. And so, you know, I took a break from Wicked Culture, and everybody was like, bro, why don't you get back into drawing? Why don't you get back into this and that? You know, and I started talking to a lot of friends, you know, that are in the industry, you know, using Kickstarter and using them to reach, you know, their fans directly and whatnot. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna look into this. I'm gonna go ahead and look into this because now I have a lot of free time. Obviously, I'm working from home. I'm not traveling. I am not doing anything with picture. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do that. And thanks to my people out there, thanks to my fans, thanks to the retailers that I have out there, friends that I have, you know, for the past 15, 20 years, follow me on my Facebook, you know, they push me because some of them are out there and they know exactly who they are, you know, because I mentioned them, you know, and I'll never forget about them, you know, and they will tell me, do it, man, just do it. Just go out and do it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put out there. I'm going to put something small. I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't even know. I still don't even 4 or 5 months later, and I don't even know how Kickstarter works. You know, I love now that I have Wendy, you know, helping me out. And before I had Richard from Boom, you know, helping me out and stuff like that, you know. And when I started, you know, you should see me, man. Yeah, I'll be on my phone and I'll be calling people left and right. Hey, can you help me out? I want to do a Kickstarter and I have no idea how the fuck to do this. Can you help me with this? Yeah, yeah. Until finally, you know, I started getting the right people, you know, and it's a beautiful thing to, you know, to have, you know, so much support, you know, from everyone out there, you know. And so I put out, you know, all that jazz, you know, and guess what? I didn't know what to expect. It was a 40-page pinup book, which it turned out beautiful, beautiful, beautiful with Mario Moreta Bilocho. You know, I love this work and everything. And I said, you know what? If I'm going to get back, I'm going to create a new high impact. I'm going to write the new stories for Double Impact, including my own, which I am illustrating and painting myself. That's coming out later on. That's the big boy. That's the big, big, big blockbuster. So, but I gotta start small. So I'm gonna put out a pinup book, you know, and I'm gonna put Jazz. You know, she's been everyone's favorite. I talked to Mario, I talked to Bilocho, and he's like, you know, I'm jumping on it. I love it. I want to draw this character. We started drawing. We started putting this book together. There was a lot of people out there that told me, don't even expect. You're not even going to do 150. You're not even going to sell 300. You're not even going to sell 500 copies. You know, you're not, you know, this is not going to go anywhere. And I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's put it out there and let's see what happens. Well, guess what? Again, going back to what I was telling you before, you know, it's all about the people. It's all about my backers. It's all about the fans. You know, not only the old ones, but the new ones that are coming on board, that are jumping on board. It did great, you know, all that jazz. I've been away for more than 12 years. And that is just a pinup book that I'm putting out there, you know, with my Double Impact characters. You know, it turned out and it did wonderful. It did amazing. I had tears in my eyes. You know, I had a lot of people calling me and saying, hey, man, congratulations, you're back. You're back. Now you're back, you know. And so when I saw what I was able to do, you know, I said, you know what? Wait a minute. This is just the beginning. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring, you know, my special forces, you know, that I've been working with, you know, I mean, I've been cultivating and working with, you know, and I have this really, really top talent, you know, that I've been guiding and teaching and stuff like that. Jose Bordon, you know, and I'm like, hey, look, listen, you know what? I'm going to take the next series for Double Impact You want to come on board and you want to come on right under my wing and you want to jump on this on Ghost No More, because this is going to be a big one. This is the return of China and jazz, you know. And man, you know, I mean, the pages are coming out beautiful. You know, I mean, it has turned out from a small little project. It has turned out to be huge. And we're just all excited. We're all excited that because of everybody out there, you know, we're able to be back doing what we love to do, man.
So before we get into that, I do want to showcase some stuff from Double Impact, the old school stuff, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get kicked off on YouTube and get in trouble. So this is the advertisement. This is the clip for me to tell everybody that Facebook is going to allow it. So if this interview cuts off on YouTube, they just don't want you to see it. So I'm just going to throw up a bunch of images. So this is why a good reason, and we're on Twitch too for a reason too. So I'm just saying that, you know, YouTube doesn't like some of this stuff. I don't know why. It's really not that offensive.
It's not. It's not. It's just politics.
So this is one of the covers for something you did. This is another cover from old school stuff. This is another cover which I absolutely love. It's not provocative at all, now is it?
No, but it's not. Back then it was, because just the pose, but it's really not. It's really not.
And then we got that in there, and so obviously this is just some of the stuff. This is my favorite cover because I just think it's funny.
Oh man, so I gotta redo that one again just for you. Just for you, I gotta do that.
And then there's some other stuff too that's out there, like this, which is Nikki Blade, and Nikki Blade's come out of it. And then there's a variety of other things that have also come out of Double Impact. There's been a bunch of one-shots. There's been books that you've edited. And so, I mean, there's just so much content in a very short amount of time surrounding Double Impact. And so if you like, and we're going to dive into the new stuff in a second here, but if you like the new stuff, there's a bunch of old stuff. And it's not even that expensive on eBay. If you are a collector, to go pick it up, you know, there's a bunch of copies out on eBay. Very, very easy to find it, and it's very accessible to get it. So I'm just throwing that out there to everybody.
Oh man, thank you so much. Thank you.
And so obviously Double Impact sort of just went on hiatus. You were gone for 12 years with comics and all that stuff. And then you came back really 2019, 2020 with all that jazz. And what prompted that? Because comics sort of evolved, big indie movement happened, you know, Kickstarter is actually relevant and it's actually viable. And what prompted you to come back? And what was it like even coming back into comics? Because when people leave, you know, there's a good chance that a bunch of people don't come back.
That's true.
It's complicated because, and look, I'm the same way with certain things where I'm not going back to things that I've done where I was a big YouTube curation guy, and I don't really want to go back to that. I did that for 6 years, and I was miserable during that time period. And now I'm much happier doing interviews. So obviously, what was that like coming back into comics?
Well, you know, you just said it right there. You know, I think that you have to find, you have to follow what you like. You have to, you know, continue doing, you know, what you love doing. You know, like I mentioned before, you know, you know, I didn't stop doing comics. I didn't stop drawing, you know, and publishing because I wanted to. You know, it was because of what was going on, you know, the ugly things that was going on in the industry. And because basically, you know, I was forced, you know, to get out like many others. But as I said before, you know, I love comics. You know, I'm a huge fan. You know, I mean, I collect a lot of artwork. I see, you know, a lot of my mentors out there, you know, that even when I'm down, when I'm like, I got so many things in my head, I go and I get my stack of, you know, books, you know, of like each and every single one that I really, really like. And that's it. You know, I get motivation back on, you know, it's like a click and that's it. You know, I'm back on. And it's because, you know, I love this. You know, I love comic books. I love creating. I love writing. I love creating new characters. I love the whole thing about China and jazz. And before I was so young, now we're more mature. So the writing actually, it's much better. It's a lot stronger. It's drama, action. It's real. It's based actually on a lot of reality, and so I always, like I said, I always knew that I was going to get back into comics, and I guess because of everything that's happened, and because also I have to tell you, each and every single time that I've seen that all these comic book characters were just blowing up in Hollywood, and Hollywood was just bringing to life all this great characters. I mean, obviously, I'm excited. I'm saying to myself, wow, the industry is coming back, and to our level, Hollywood had a lot to do with it, because obviously, the more motion pictures that were created, based on so many characters, X-Men, Wolverine, and so, then we started seeing Comic-Con blowing up again, growing again, bringing different markets. Now, it's not only comic books. Now we're entering, motion pictures, licensing deals, merchandising, video games,
Celebrities.
yes, exactly. We didn't have none of that before. So, Hollywood had a lot to do with this whole thing, that started, bringing back, guys like me, that we were just there on hold, hungry, on hold, saying, we're just waiting for the right time to get back, and to do things now, even bigger and better, because we're wiser, we're more mature, I mean, I can't wait until, I start putting out the next pages, drawn, illustrated, and painted by myself, because, I know that people are just going to be like, oh my God, no way, And
So to even table that, because I do want to talk about the project that before the current Kickstarter. So we have the pinup book, and then, well, we don't know what happens to China and Jazz in the old series to some degree, where it sort of ends in an interesting way. And then you have Alive that came out, which was the one that was funded before this one that's currently funded, that's got a few days left in it. And so what was that like, launching your first, bringing back, Double Impact, Alive? We find out what's going on with China and Jazz and everything that happened, and well, now they're in a whole new circumstance, and even putting that book out, because 25 years later, this book is still kicking, it's brand new, it's fresh, it's sort of rebuilt in many ways, and obviously it did very well on Kickstarter for a project, and I mean this with all respect, that probably nobody expected to come back. And It was just like, boom, and like, now, oh man, you're back. It was that kind of moment, and now we have these characters back in the forefront, looking better, looking sexier, looking cleaner, looking like a veteran artist is doing it, and looking like a professional is doing it, looking like somebody who's been drawing for 30 years is doing this, and using every trick and trade in the book to bring this book alive.
That is right. That is right. Well, after Jazz, I saw how well it did, and obviously I saw the reaction, from everyone, and there's so many, emails, and so many people reaching out, here I am, and I'm still not ready for me to go ahead and come out, to launch, what I am working on personally now, So I said, all right, but I'm really excited, and I want to continue with the whole excitement, and I want everyone to continue excited. So, I put a few pages on Facebook and on Twitter, of my last book that I drew, which I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy, it was a lot of work, a lot of detail on the inking and everything. I mean, I still look at it and I said to myself, I'm happy, I'm very happy. And I said, you know what, I'm going to put a few pages, and I'm going to ask everybody, what they think if I was to bring it back, and now it's going to be in color, because those books, since they were the very last ones that I did, and I knew that I was going to get out, I published them in black and white. I knew that that was it, So I saw the reaction from everybody, and I said to myself, hold on a second, what better, way to come back? What better way to bring back Double Impact? What better way to bring back China and Jazz on their last book as a 25th anniversary alive? We are alive. We are alive. So what better book? The book was called Double Impact Alive. What better book to bring back China and Jazz alive? 25th anniversary of China and Jazz alive. And that was it. You know, I mean, everybody loved it. You know, I had a lot of people writing, do it, do it, do it, put it out, put it out, put it out. I started coloring it. And, you know, I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm really going to pimp this out. You know, I'm really going to blow up these pages. You know, I'm going to have fun and I'm going to make sure that, you know, people are going to be like, wow, wow. And then I brought in my very good friend, you know, super talented, Giovanni Borunda, you know, and I said, hey, Giovanni, now I'm more mature. We're more mature. We can actually really write now. You know, I mean, not like back when we were kids, you know. So Giovanni is really talented. And I said, Giovanni, look, I have so many things going on. I'm just going to dump this on you. All right. Can you go ahead and can you make this into a blockbuster novel, you know, of everything that happened with China and Jazz, what's going to happen so that we can then cut it off right there and start on Ghost No More. And the series is just going to continue, you know? And so Giovanni was like, I'm not even going to think about it. I want it. It's mine. Give it to me. I'm going to write it. And so he went ahead and took it. And man, let me tell you something. I think that everybody's going to be blown away when you get these books in your hands, because you know it's an actual novel. You know, I mean, each and every single page, you're going to read it and you're going to say to yourself, oh my God, so that's what happened. Oh wow, so this is what happened. This is what happened with the Rattler. This is what happened between China and Mordred. This is what happened with this and this and this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very excited. I'm very excited, and that book should be going out to print within next week or so. So I can't wait. I really can't wait.
And then that kind of leads into Ghost No More, which is the current Kickstarter. And this is why we're here, because this book, and I'm a cover guy, so I know very little about Double Impact. I'm catching up. I've read the first few issues. I didn't read it live. I'm guilty, but I saw the covers. And I'm like, oh my God, this thing looks amazing. These covers are awesome. And that's what caught me off of it, where I love the cover art on these books. We froze up. Oh no, this is not good. We froze up. It would not be an interview without freezing up. And we're back. We're back. So as I was saying, is that I love the cover art on these books. That's what caught me. I'm going through Kickstarter. It was recommended. I'm going through it. I'm looking at the art on it. It's amazing. The story is fascinating. And so obviously, and this is the relaunch, and obviously we have the fact that China and Jazz are alive, and well, they are now dealing with people who want to kill them. And they're going to deal with it in their way. And anyone who knows Double Impact knows that there's spike wielding, guns blazing, badass women who are not going to be very diplomatic in how they deal with the problem. And it's awesome. And there's going to be some sex appeal, and it's kind of just what is meant to be. And it's so 90s, but it's done in 2020. It's not political correct. No. It's awesome. And I love every second of it. And I haven't read it yet, and I know I'm going to love it.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. I'm super excited because I am doing now what I always wanted to do without having nobody being afraid, no, I can't do this, or maybe, it'll be a little bit too much or whatnot. No, and
Because right, isn't it the idea that no matter what you do, somebody's not going to like it?
oh yeah,
Because this is how I feel, in which that my show and my podcast is me. I choose who's on my show. I choose why they're on my show. Now, of course, there's the limits. Every once in a while, you get a situation where, in wrestling in particular, somebody is a registered sex offender. I didn't interview them. I want to make that clear. You have to take that down.
sure,
But first, in the idea of what you're doing, which is just a great book. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's awesome. And I love the fact that there's no parameters on it, because
yeah,
this is what makes this story so good, is that
yeah,
there's no parameters on it. And at this stage in the game, I'm just sick of political correctness. I'm sick of everybody being appropriate all the time, and I just want good stories. And I don't really care if there's nudity. I don't care if there's violence. I don't care if women are running around topless if it's
yeah.
good writing.
That is
And
right. That is right. That is right. And I feel the same way, and that is the reason why I am using my new comic books. I am using my new storylines for Double Impact to be able to express myself like that. No censorship. And I have to tell you that when you get this new comic books, when you get this new storylines, and you read them,
don't
and you
leave your
see that.
5-year-old. Just don't give it to your 5-year-old, and you'll be
Oh
fine.
yeah, of course. But
That's the only warning. That's the only warning that's on the book. Don't give it to your 5-year-old. You'll be fine.
That's it. But this is real. I mean, you're gonna read. You're gonna read a lot of things that are happening. A lot of the things that are in the storylines that are human. That I've gone through. I'm putting a lot of myself in some of these characters. A lot of people that I know are inside of these characters. I mean, China and Jazz are, two, sexy chicks. That at the end of the day, they have suffered. They go through a lot. They have been through a lot. They cry. You're gonna have moments of themselves, just talking by themselves. Are we gonna continue? Are we gonna go on? When is gonna be the end? Or are we just gonna say fuck it all the way to the end, and we're gonna bury each and every single motherfucker that has done us wrong, or that's out there that doesn't deserve to be out there? Are we gonna go ahead and we're gonna do that? And then you have the other characters. You have the bad guys. It's all about money and power. It is real. It is what's going on in days today. Is the only difference is that it is called a comic book, and we're giving them big tits, big machine guns.
Also, it's a really vibrant, colorful book. I
wanted that. When I got Jose, I said, what I was asking from him, and I'm laying out each and every single page, and he was telling me, I don't think that I am ready for this because of how much work and detail in each and every single page. I said, I don't want just a regular comic book. I don't want to see the same thing that is out there. I don't want and just for Double Impact. And you are going to be illustrated. I'm going to guide you. I'm going to give you what you need in order for you to go ahead and make it happen. But I want each and every single page to look like a video game. I want each and every single page to be like, oh, wow, this looks like three-dimensional.
It looks like this is a good example of what this looks like. Obviously, it's really popping off the page. Yeah. This looks like it's clearly a comic book, but it almost is like photorealistic, where I don't know how to describe it. It's photo comic realistic is a good way to how I describe it. And that's the other thing that caught me on this book, is I'm like, man, this art is phenomenal. And this is something that hasn't been seen before. Because who in their right mind will do a book like this? And I say that out of respect, but it's a lot of work.
It is,
and you're pushing out something that actually is really good art, and that people talk about interiors and all sorts of stuff. I mean, this is a very, very, very interior intense book.
Yeah. You know, I'm very proud. This is my baby, and I'm very proud of the fact that it's not only beautiful covers. The covers are, you know, are intense, but the
Well, we're
inside.
going to talk about those covers. We're going to talk about those covers. I got the pictures. I don't know how far we want to go. I haven't decided if we're going to go all the way in and get me in trouble on YouTube yet. But we can talk about the appropriate covers at the very least. So I love a bunch of these covers, and this is
Yeah.
cover two.
Yeah.
This is an idea where obviously it's sexy, a lot of guns fighting, but you could even just see this cover is awesome. So that's cover two, and then I think this is cover three.
Right.
And
And, and if you notice this one, it's really cool because I'm introducing, you know, for the first time. This is another thing too, that you know, I wanted to introduce, you know, I mean, some of the characters, you know, that I was never able to introduce before, you know, and we have the intro of the Pink Panther, you know, and we don't even know if she's good or bad. All we know is that she is just stunning and she is deadly. And when you see her powers and stuff, you know, you're gonna be like blown away, you know. And so there she is.
Shot of her. This is a good shot of her.
Yeah, there she is. There she is. She's gorgeous. She's fun, and you just have no idea that she is mean and deadly.
That YouTube doesn't like as the cover image for the preview of this interview apparently. So we must be doing something right.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing.
Anytime I could take a shot at YouTube, you know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I love it. You already seen how I am. You know, I mean, with me, you know, no censorship. I mean, I think that whoever knows that I don't like them too much will be like, holy shit, Ricky's gonna be live. Oh my god. Oh my god.
And there are certain covers I'm purposely avoiding because I do think they cross a line. I think cover 4 and cover 5 are very provocative. There are some nipple slipping out of the regular covers. Yeah. So I'm not going to be showing those for those because obviously I understand where lines are drawn. I don't want to push the boundary too far per se. I think I pushed it enough with YouTube today. But then we get stuff like this.
Yeah. And
this is cool. And so obviously even just this photorealistic and eating ice cream never looks sexier.
Yep. Yeah.
and these are all the safe covers to talk about. Like this is the problem is that these are all the safe covers to talk about. Imagine all the dirty covers. I think I can show this one really quickly, but that's as quick as I'm going to show it. If everybody would like on the replay, you guys can pause it all you want. I think I can get away with a really quick one, and then obviously I think this one's similar, really quick right there as well. You know, I'm sneaking things in here, and then this is the cover that I personally backed, and this is provocative enough in a variety of reasons, and I love this cover. This is like Rainbow Mika Street Fighter level. Right. Amazing, and I love her in the bikini. I love her in the playful, holding her strings. I also love the background and the popping off of it. And so this is just another cover that can be bought. And I'll say this: all these covers that I'm showing you are $30, which, you know, and I'm a big Zenescope fan. A Zenescope cover, for those who don't know, typically is about $20. So when we talk about variants and really cool art, this is in line with that level. So I do want to say that. And then Zenescope's nude covers are like $100. And so that's something to keep in mind. And then there's also this one, and I think that this one's fun. And obviously there's something going on. This is a little bit more appropriate than I feel the other stuff out there. There's no frontage.
If you see it, it's right behind me. If you see it, it's right behind me. It's one of my favorite ones. It's one of my favorite ones. And actually, then you don't even realize it. You don't even realize it. But they're not wearing any bikinis. You just don't see it. They're not wearing any bikinis.
It's the angle that matters. That's the whole thing. And then this is cool too. And this is another one that's a good one. And this is a cover obviously you did as well, and so this is cool for that point. And I would show the other stuff, but I'm going to push the line here. And then there's a few other things, and some of this is blurred out. So this is blurred out. So it's so very much Steph Wilson. I don't know if you know who Steph Wilson is, but people who like Steph Wilson, right up his style. There's this, which is those two other covers. Obviously, you get the nude. Lot of like full on nudity. This is also a bunch of other covers that are out there that can also be done. So that's sort of all that stuff. So obviously a lot of cover choice. A lot of cover choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what is that like to offer playful sexiness and those variants? Because those are my favorite, is clothed variants and clothed covers. And it's not that I'm against nudity, it's that I like to share this stuff on Instagram. And I find it more playful in many ways, and I find it more imaginative, and also I find it, sexier to some degree. But I also know that a lot of people like nudity, and they like those type of covers, and they're like, oh man, I just want to see that, and I love it, and it's bigger than ever. I mean, Zenescope is a company that has really pushed that, and I think a lot of people will give them credit for it. Is that they've pushed it, and then Boundless Comics has also pushed it extensively, and it's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And I have friends now in Kickstarters who are now doing nude covers.
Well, one thing like you said, and it's that now we can offer our fans a little bit of everything. We have people out there, like you said, that are really are not into the whole nutty nude showing everything type of a cover. But I have I think that we made a whole trend with the nude covers for Double Impact back in the 90s, and I have a huge fan base on they just they really love the whole nude variants, nude covers. So now we're able to offer a little bit of everything, and a whole variety of different covers to everyone. So if you want the nude, full nude, believe me, you're gonna get the full nude. You're not gonna get a semi nude or a type of nude like some others do it, which is not even nude. With high impact, with me, you're gonna get the real nude, no holds barred. That's simple, And some of the other ones, that I draw, like you said, they may not be fully nude, but I mean, I love to tease and have fun with the image and show a little bit of nuttiness and stuff like that, even though I am not going all out. Well, it's a little bit provocative in a good way, in a fun way that could be enjoyable. And at the end of the day, you look at it and you say, "Oh my God, this is art." It's not offensive; it's art.
Well, according to YouTube, it's offensive, but that's just them. Anyway, yeah, I'm so sorry. It's just too easy today. Legitimately, this is the first time in over 150 interviews that I've done that they took it down. So they're open to being shot on. They're open, and I might not be able to say that anymore in America, but that's a different discussion completely. So
they're going to be talking about you, Andrew. They're going to be talking about you, Andrew. They're going to be talking about you.
I'm going to get a letter from Google telling me I'm banned. But anyway. I mean, I just think it's great. And then obviously you've done a bunch of other stuff. I mean, you have a lot of other awards. You, I think, have a digital nude book that has Christina Steele as cosplaying Jazz. You have Paula Caspasi, or I don't know how to say her name. You have Turbo X or Turbo Z edition and a digital version as well. And then there's just a bunch of stuff that's obviously all across the board, and all those women are pretty hot, so I got no complaints.
Those are pretty hot, and again, I love the fact that I'm able to show this and to bring this out, because I love photography. I've been shooting, you know, photos for more than 30 years, you know, and so for me to be able to, you know, to work with some of these models, you know, and for me to transform them and be able to say, oh my God, you know, those are my photographs, those are my pictures. I did that photo shoot, and I am able to share it with the world and with all my fans. It's an amazing feeling, you know.
This book right here is awesome. The Turbo Z.
Thank you. Thank you.
Obviously, this is censored for those that are concerned. That's why I'm showing it. The other one, which is the cosplay jazz, while it's blurred out on Kickstarter,
yeah,
I'm not going to push my luck here. But I love that Turbo Z photo. I love her clothed. I can't wait to see what it looks like unclothed. But even the fact that you're bringing it to life too, and that these models are cosplaying and embodying your characters. I mean, I love that because that actually brings it real and it brings it out into the real world. You know, we look at cosplay, and cosplay brings it out, and you see a guy who looks like Batman. I know it's off topic a little bit, but I think it's going to make sense for everybody that, oh man, this is what Batman would look like in real life. And then you see somebody cosplaying Jazz or cosplaying China or cosplaying, you know, the Pink Panther, which we don't know where the Pink Panther stands at this point in the comic, but you say, oh, now this is what this character would look like. And then you look back in the book and you're like, oh, I get it. And so I think it's wonderful when that happens.
I totally agree. That's why, you know, when I saw that I could as a creator, I could take advantage of bringing so much, you know, for that, you know, for my fans, you know, and for everybody out there, you know, enjoy the comic book, the cosplay, the digital versions, you know, the photos, the actual real photos. And for one day, you know, when we get back to the normal, which I'm dying for that day to happen, that we get back on the road, that we're, you know, doing conventions, and I'm able to have my models, you know, live there signing also, you know, and that you have it in your hands. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing that we're able to bring back and give so much, you know, not just the comic book, you know, but a lot more.
Yeah, and I think it's also very helpful. You know, Zenescope used to have cosplay booth girls. I think that for this book works very well. I know that Preston Poulter, who was on Wednesday, hired a booth babe. It was cosplaying a character he did in his book, and so to help draw sales. And I think that it's going to be very, very helpful to your book, especially if you have a cosplayer in the booth, because it makes it real, and people like that. And it makes it an experience versus
well, I have to tell you that in 1995, after the first Double Impact, they came out. In 1992, the first San Diego Comic-Con that I did, I was the first one that brought in, you know, 2 girls dressed up with machine guns at my booth. And that was like, and it was amazing. It was incredible. It was amazing. At that time, a lot of people were selling Polaroids. Each Polaroid was like $15, $20, you know. And so a lot of these models, you know, bring in, you know, their Polaroids. So a lot of the fans could take pictures. And then, you know, back then you wouldn't even have anybody taking selfies. And yet you would have the Polaroid and the models with the fan, you know, taking these pictures with a Polaroid. So yeah, imagine that. So no, I was one of the very first ones that revolutionized.
Now we have these.
yeah, now we have these. Now we have these. So yeah, I'm really excited, man. I'm looking forward to you know, get back and do all these new conventions, which I'm already planning. You know that the Comic-Con for Miami Beach is coming now in a few months and stuff like that. I'm already talking with them. You know, we have a really big booth there, and so it's going right now. Everything that's happening, not that, you know, they haven't had any changes or nothing like that. So we're thinking that everything is gonna, you know, it's gonna work out great.
I want to table that for 1 second. I do want to remind people who are watching and are going to catch yourself that you get all the covers. You can get the one you want. There's a combo deal where you can pick 4. out of the regular, you can pick 4 out of the nude, you can get all the nudes, you can get all the regular covers, you can get all of everything collectively. There's all these packages, and obviously that stuff is massively discounted versus you picking it up individually. So if you like 4 out of the 8 regular covers, I believe it's $100, which means that you're saving about $20. So
Yeah.
so that is very, very helpful. Yeah, you're saving $20. So obviously, if you like 4 of the covers, like, oh man, these are awesome, and I love it. That's something that's out there. Same thing with the nudes. The nudes are $40 a piece, so you're saving a little bit of money there. Also, I think you get everything in a print as well.
Yeah.
Yes. And also the $30 covers, for those who don't know, are hollow foil, from my understanding.
Right.
So that's the other thing why they're $30 is that they're shiny.
I would tell everybody that because I came out and so fast, put out there's 3 titles, and it's been boom boom boom, one right after the other. Double Impact Alive caught a lot of people by surprise, and they didn't think that they were going to be getting such great package deals with a lot of the covers, a lot of the variant covers and whatnot. I would tell you that now we have 3 days left for you to jump on board on Ghost No More, because I have now a lot of people that missed on Double Impact Alive, and they're like, oh man, are you going to have some of these covers later on your website, or are you going to be offering them again? Because I didn't, I didn't have time. I was not aware of it. I missed it, and I'm a Double Impact fan. I'm a China and Jazz fan, and so it is really important that, and it's a matter of fact, now I'm going to take an advantage. Just a little while ago, I was talking to, Wendy Shaner, and I was writing actually right over here what I'm going to be putting later on, because, I've had such, so many people writing and telling me, hey man, you're not going to go ahead and you're not going to offer another cover, with rhinestones, which I had offered it before and it did really well. And this time I really didn't even think about it, So probably later on, we're going to surprise, a lot of people and stuff like that with just this one really, really, really hot cover. And, it's just going to be all bling, bling, all rhinestones. And I'm actually going to be designing that myself. If I go ahead, if I put it out there, I'm going to be designing it myself.
And so obviously I'm going to make a recommendation off air to you. That's also going to be a big change, and I think it's going to make you a decent amount of money. I think people are going to be very happy with my recommendation, but we're going to do it off air for a reason, because we're going to keep it low wraps for your next Kickstarter. And it'll have to do with the convention too. But anyway, I do want to talk about, Kickstarter as a whole, and even COVID, because obviously Kickstarter is a game changer. It gives you a lot of freedom, gives a lot of creators a lot of freedom. And then on top of that, obviously it's, and you're new to Kickstarter. So I don't expect you to know all the ins and outs, but obviously big names have come into Kickstarter and more projects were on Kickstarter. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but last year around this time, there was more projects on Kickstarter and the success rate was higher than it is now. And there's less projects on, which means that, technically speaking, which I don't think makes economic sense, but apparently that was the statistics. And so obviously that means that if more people are on Kickstarter, more projects get funded. And also when bigger names come onto Kickstarter, that probably also leads to it, but also statistically probably projects also get taken away from. So where do you find Kickstarter and crowdfunding going? Because it has massive benefits and it also has massive cons and things that are not so good.
Being being new in this whole this whole side of the industry with Kickstarter, and there's others out there. I see it now as the only way that I see it now, because I'm new to it, is that I see it as the opportunity to reach out directly to the fans, to my backers, to my followers. Those guys that have followed me and they love what I do, and they love China and Jazz and each and every single character that we've put out. From me, right across directly into the hands of, of my fans, my retailers, the people that want, and love what I do. I see it as a great opportunity to work like that, and what better way, to be funded by, to have my partners, which that's the way that I looked at it. When I was first talking to, certain friends and stuff, I'm like, what better way to, in reality, my backers are my investors. My backers are the investors, telling me, hey, look, listen, can you do this? Can you bring this? Can you add this on? We want to see this. Hey, can you put me in the comic book? Hey, look, listen, I want to cover. What better way, to give back, to so many people out there, you're dealing with them directly, and I think it's a beautiful thing. It's a great opportunity. I really think, what's going to happen later on and how the changes are coming. Well, I have no idea. The only thing that I can tell you is that I'm very blessed that we have, avenues like Kickstarter to be able to deal directly with the backers, with the fans, with everyone out there, that wants to be a part of, what we're working on and what I'm doing over here.
And then obviously I want to piggyback on that because Kickstarter has gotten very, very complicated in the last 3 years. It's become very legitimate, and a lot of bad actors have been actually removed from Kickstarter, which has been very good. But also with bigger names coming in, it is super, super interesting where it's all going. But I do want to talk about COVID because obviously I think it's safe to say that COVID-19 wrecked all of 2020 con-wise. I think it's a pretty clear thing, and I think that there's still a lot of damage that is still, the dust is still settling. I think conventions are going to have to adapt. I think that parameters are going to have to be set in for safety reasons, whether that's attendance, more spacing out, expenses kicked up, people wearing masks, maybe cosplay has to be tabled for another year just so that, everything sort of gets stabilized. Or what might even happen is that people might just continuously wearing masks because the flu, it might not be such a bad thing in society, because all of a sudden, no offense to anybody, but when you're around 25,000 people,
sure,
and somebody's sick at a convention, everybody gets sick.
Sure.
And so I don't know exactly where all this goes, but I think that we're moving in the right direction. But where do you think it's all going, and how do you think that people are going to adapt? And obviously, you're going to be going to cons, and I mean, look, I'm waiting a year just because I'm letting the dust settle a little bit. And I'm also in Connecticut, near New York, and I'm near where, the tri-state area where I'm living is much higher, and they're still trying to settle it out. So where do you think that's all going and how it's adapting?
Well, I can tell you that, it's a roller coaster, and we see that it's still a roller coaster, there's a lot of people that want certain things. They're not happy with certain things. A lot of people want the opposite. I'm in Miami Beach. I'm in South Beach. So when this whole thing,
the happiest place on earth. You're in the happiest place on earth.
when this whole thing blew up, and we actually said to ourselves, "Oh my God, this is serious. This is really killing people." What the hell is this? Where did it come from? Imagine, again, I'm in South Beach, so this looked like a ghost town. Right now, even still right now, we've seen hundreds of stores sacrificed, went out of business. That's it. They're not opening their doors no more. And then you go up to Miami, and it's the same way. Why? Because we have even now for all these events, that they get, that we have almost every single month. You have all these people coming down on Miami Beach, and they think that nothing is happening. It's incredible. I mean, I only go out when I really need to go out. I don't. I'm like 5 minutes away from. I can walk to the beach. It's right in front of me. I don't go. We don't go out. I mean, I've taken an advantage to build, my art, my books, my career, you know, and you know, as an artist, because I see that, you know, where I live, and now that they want to bring back, you know, Comic-Con, and they already have the green light. I don't know how they're going to do it. You know, I talked to them this past week.
It's a legitimate concern.
Yes, yes, you know, and I said, hey, look, listen, I just want to be up to date. I want to know, you know, if it's 100% or if you guys going to be canceled again, because they've been wanting to do it, and I understand that you have so many businesses that, you know, are dying to get back up again because they have suffered greatly. You know, it's a matter of fact, today that I needed to buy some shipping stuff, you know, for this books that I'm, you know, that I'm sending out, right?
Buy some post office stuff, Gemini, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and I went ahead and I have to pass by this place where it's an art store, and I haven't been there in like about a month, you know, and I went right by in front of it, and the last time that I spoke with the owner, you know, he was telling me, Ricky, I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue because I have suffered so much, and I was able to open only a few months ago, and I still don't have any clients. I don't think that I'm going to make it. Well, guess what, man? You know, I went and I'm there with my wife and I'm driving and I'm saying to myself, oh my God, I think this, you know, I didn't see the doors open. I think that this man closed, you know, closed down. I went ahead, I went around. Exactly right, man. You know, he, you know, decided that he couldn't hold on anymore. So he shut down. He lost his business. So I see it, you know, as a businessman, I said to myself, all right, I understand that I am not gonna be able to feed my family or continue, you know, not having an income, you know, and if my business is out there and it's been closed down for more than a year, and we still don't even know where we're going with this whole thing, you know, I have two choices: either try to reinvent myself and try to find something else to do, and close down. Just like I'm telling you, I'm in the heart of the party life. I'm where everybody wants to come and party. You know, you go to the beach.
They're a worldwide territory, right?
You go to South Beach, you see girls literally trying to walk naked. You know, you see them topless, you know, with the smallest little Brazilian bikinis that you say to yourself, what are you leaving me to, you know, to imagine? Nothing. You know, just go on naked already, man, you know? And so you have, you know, you have everybody that wants to come down to Miami Beach and to come down to the beach. So you have all these places, restaurants, cafeterias, clubs, you know, saying, we just want to get back. We want to open. We want to open. We want to open. Yes, it has to be done properly. It has not been done properly here in Miami Beach. Why? Because you have all these crazy kids and all these crazy people that come down and they party, they drink every single day. You know, no responsibilities whatsoever, no masks, you know, and it's a roller coaster, my friend. You know, it's really sad. It really is.
It's going to be very interesting because there's a whole skew of problems.
Yeah.
We could go on for another hour about those
Yes.
problems. But I think that in the last, I've done about 159 interviews or 149 interviews in the last 13 months. And out of those 149 interviews, I probably asked this question. And if everybody wants to go back and compile it, I think you'll get your answer. And I think anybody who's logical, who's been to a con, can also come to how complicated this issue is at conventions, celebrities, vendors, people actually making money, people coming out. There's just so much that's just massively complicated on that front. And it's a problem I'm glad I don't have. I mean, honestly, I mean, you know, it's a problem I'm glad I don't have. But I'm an eBay seller, so I get it.
Well,
I'm lucky enough that I could order everything from online,
yeah,
and then I could literally have the post office pick it right up from my door. It's wonderful, but I completely understand about making ends meet and all that stuff. It's a very long road to recovery, and once we're all vaccinated, that is just the beginning. Because the damage is done so extensively.
Yep.
And it's not even political. It's how do you fix somebody who lost their business?
Yes.
So it's an impossible question. And I don't want to answer that question right now because it is impossible to answer that question.
It is. It is. Andrew, I've seen it here. I've seen it with you know, I've been living in Miami Beach for more than 30 years. You know, and so everywhere I go, you know, I know everybody. You know, and everyone knows me. I've seen people literally just shut down, and they're not in business anymore. They're able to hold on. How can you hold on for more than a year without an income?
You can't, and that it's going to be very, very interesting where cons go, where businesses go, and all that stuff. And but obviously, on that note, I'm going to make a really hard transition to something like this here. I just love that image. I just love that image. I absolutely love this image too. I want to throw this one up there. That's cover one. I forgot to mention cover one out there. So obviously, just want to throw those images up there, but I do want to give you an opportunity to self-promote. Obviously, an hour and 15 minutes talking about everything with Double Impact. We squeezed like 25 years in a very short amount of time.
I know, and it was really fast too. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. I feel like we can keep on talking for more than 3 hours. You know, it's been great, man.
I'll introduce you to a bunch of people that you'll fall in love with. You might know some of them too. I have two off the top of my head. I just don't want to. I could mention one of them, Keith Garvey.
Oh, of course, yeah, definitely.
And then I don't want to mention the other because the other might kill me. So he knows who he is, but he's not going to listen.
Yeah.
But I know you're cut from the same cloth, and you know exactly what I'm referring to. Once we're off here, I'll tell you. But where can obviously people find the Kickstarter? Where can they find you? Obviously, you got a clothing company. Your shirts are really expensive and they're really cool. So obviously, I like your shirts a lot and everything that's out there and the designs with them. And yes, they are for both men and women.
Yes.
We are equal here. At least on my podcast, we are. But all kidding aside, where can people find you, support you, check out the Kickstarter, you know, stay up to date with you, email list, and all that stuff, because that is super important right now.
Well, you know, you can find me. You can find me on Kickstarter right now. We have 3 days left, and I hope that whoever it's new, you know, and didn't know, that was not aware, you know, that you can go there now. You know, it's on the High Impact Comics, and also Facebook. You know, High Impact Comics on Facebook, Instagram, High Impact Comics. My website, highimpactcomics.com, which is pretty much wickedculture.com. It's pretty much the same thing. We're making some changes now. It's going to have a really kick-ass online store, you know, for prints, posters. I have so many people that have asked me for so long, hey, man, where can we get some prints? Where can we get some posters? Where can we get some cards? You know, remember, I'm a one-man army here, you know, so, you know, I need some time, and that is the reason why I'm bringing in, you know, this top talent, you know, working with me, and so that I'm able to go ahead and do a lot more and give you back a lot more. So yeah, everything, you know, you search High Impact Comics, you know, you'll be able to find me, and on Instagram, Facebook, and on Kickstarter, you know, you gotta go there now. You gotta go there now. We have 3 days left, and later on, I'm gonna put in another add-on, which is really gonna blow everybody off.
So obviously, and I didn't get to like 1/10 of what I wanted to speak to you about, and then we covered a lot. So that should give an idea, and we're gonna do this again at some point. And
sure.
I love one of my favorite interviews so far this year. I gotta say that.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. I'm really happy, and I'm really glad that because I was really nervous, you know, and you have made me feel so comfortable that, you know, for 5 minutes right after the interview, you know, I felt, you know, okay, I'm back. You know, I mean, I felt great, you know, that I'm able to talk to you and be myself, you know, and say things how I am, you know. So I thank you. I thank you for the time. I thank you for the opportunity. And yeah, I would love to do it again.
And I want to just say what I've been always saying: you have to support indie.
Yes.
It is super important right now. What that means is backing Kickstarters. If people have web stores, buying merch from web stores, you know, obviously check out, you know, wickedculture.com. I think the link's up above. If I didn't get that link correct, correct me. But I know the link for your website's up above on this interview or down below if it's still on YouTube. And I think it's also elsewhere. I'm going to promote it out. But you have to support indie. It's just not backing a Kickstarter. It's also buying merch, no matter what that is. And when that shop gets shoppified, for lack of a better word here, I'm pretty sure that's a trademark term, but I'm stealing it for the time being. And gets I guess re-merchandised. We should go with that. There's going to be a bunch of prints, comics, all sorts of cool stuff. That's a good way how to support too, as well as if you do have a money issue right now, because again we're speaking about South Beach. It's a mess, and let's be realistic. COVID's done a lot of damage to people economically, and I get it. There is a very cheap digital reward. So if you don't have $30, the digital side of this stuff is cheaper. If you just want to read it, and you're just excited about that. But more importantly, please take care of yourself. Take care of yourself financially. Take care of your wife, kids, children, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend. Take care of your pets. That stuff is super important right now. And also make sure your rent's paid and your mortgage is paid, because if it's not, it's going to come bite you in the ass. And then I'm just saying, make sure you got electricity, food, water, shelter. And make sure that's good for this month, the next month, and even maybe the month after that. And then if you're in that situation where you can't support somebody financially, social media, sharing somebody's Kickstarter into a comic group on Facebook that has 1,500 people that has not been shared on already is massively important, because it will get attention to that project.
That is right.
So that is super, super important to do just that. And so obviously that's what you should be doing. And if you are supporting it economically, you should still be sharing it on social media, because you should be doing both. And on that note, support indie, everybody, again, and I'm going to give you the final word.
Well, as you said, we talked about so many things, and there's so much more that we, it's just impossible, right? We left out the toys. We left out the figurines, the China and Jazz figurines, which I posted, and I'm so excited because they look amazing. They look so cute. They look amazing, and it's a matter of fact, later on, I'm supposed to be getting the final pictures, which as soon as I get them, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to post them on my social media pages so that you all can see it and share it. And I love them. I know that you're going to love them. They're so cute. They're adorable. And I can't wait. I can't wait until I have them. And I can't wait until you have them. So I want to, listen, Andrew, I want to thank you. And the most important thing, I want to thank my fans. I want to thank my supporters. I want to thank the retailers. I want to thank this industry for bringing me in, taking me in, 25 years ago. And most importantly, me coming back, I had no idea. And so you people have been great, amazing, and especially when I needed it, because as we talked about, a lot of people don't realize how important it really is. But this whole COVID thing, has really hurt a lot of us, my family. I saw this as a way to be home, draw, and hopefully be able to bring some income where I could go ahead and help pretty much everyone, And so, yeah, it is really important. It is really important. And again, I thank you all. I thank my fans. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
And I don't have any other way that I could have said it better than you just said it. And so that is a wrap right there.
All right. Well, it's a wrap.